Moving on to our next photo here, we've got a picture of the cannon, the old cannon out in front of the courthouse building. And basically, we've got again exposed more for our sky. So basically, I would probably just pull up my fill a bit here and quickly pull up my brights. Just give you a quick adjustment just so you can see that. I mean, I would work on this more to process the photo, but I just want to show you more what it looked like and why I've exposed for the sky there, as you can see. So basically what we're going to do is we'll zoom in here, and are we at 1 or at 1 to 2? So let's go to 1 to 1, and you can see details again is really good in the corners, right on the far sides. We can make out practically what that sign says there in the far background. Detail in the trees is good. And bear in mind, I've just we're at 1 to 1 here, and I've just done some editing as far as the exposure on here. So at 1 to 1, this is looking really good. Detail sharp in the flags here, right on the far edge of the photo. And again, detail's good in the grass, right in the bottom corners. You can see good detail there. And if we come back down, this should be 1 to 2. Yeah, so we can see that at 1 to 2, which is usually all I ever go to when I'm zooming in anyways, but you can see details very, very good, and the photo image looks really good. This lens is performing quite nicely. So that's the photo there. Now again, if I come down to my lens corrections, I enable profile correction, you can see the difference there. It's basically taking out our vignetting. A lot of times you want to add vignetting. So here if I enable it, you can see it's removed it, and probably a little too much vignetting in here if I was to add it. So I would be somewhere in between here on my final process, as you can see. But you could see a little bit of the correction happening on the lens there, especially if you watch this building here when I enable it and whatnot. But again, you can see how powerful the profile corrections are in Lightroom to do that. So let's move on to the next photo. We've got an old school across the street from our courthouse. And basically what I'm going to do is just again pull up my exposure here. I'm going to pull up the brightness in here, and we'll go to say 85 there and pull up the there we go. And so basically it looks good. Let's zoom in here in the corners, and we're looking very good in the corners here. You can read that Econo Lodge sign in the background over there on the far side. Details very good in the center, obviously, as you can see. Poster on the staple to the light post here for something or other is quite clear. You can make out a lot of the detail in the poster. You can make out in the edge-to-edge sharpness, again, very good, no problems whatsoever. And overall, still Sigma's performing very nicely. Another shot of the same school. There it is, the full frame. Again, let's show you what happens when we activate the lens correction. So it removes some of that vignetting and corrects a little bit for the ultra wide, some of the little bit of distortion that's happening on the ultra wide. But again, very little distortion for an ultra wide 8mm zoom here. This is looking really good. And let's go right into the corner, and the detail here is quite good, even though this is, depth of field is very deep on these ultra wide lenses, but my focus is over here on the building, and look how sharp still this way in the foreground is in the far corner. So again, this lens is performing very well, no complaints whatsoever here. And then when we go over to the next photo, we've got a rail bridge. I'm standing on a bridge, that's what you see in the foreground here, and then a rail bridge across the river there. So basically what we're going to do here is the same thing. I'm just going to pull up the exposure a bit, try to maintain my sky as much as possible. So just a quick adjustment just so you can see the photo better there. And let's have a quick look in the corners here. You see in the very foreground, still looking sharp despite the focus being off in the distance, and edge-to-edge sharpness here again, very, very good, very nice. You can see over on the far side, this house in the distance over on the edge looks good. The trees look good on the far edge. Look at the detail of the graffiti on the far edge right on this bridge. Looks really good. Very nice performance out of the Sigma here. So basically, I'm just going to copy these settings here, because what I'm going to do is show you now a sequence that demonstrates the full zoom of the Sigma. So we're going to get into the same type of bridge setting here, and it is at 8 to 16. And let me just apply these here. I'll just sync these settings here. So now what you can see is here is the Sigma at 8 millimeters with that bridge, and then we move over to it at 9.5 millimeters. And I guess actually the exposure is not going to work for this one as well, because I've actually had stopped down for this one. So what we'll do is we'll just pop down that so you can see the photo a little bit there. Okay, so 8 millimeters, 9.5 millimeters. What a difference 1.5 millimeter makes. So you can see what I mean when I say that 8 to 10 is actually a huge field of view when you're already that wide. And we move over next to the, I'm just going to sync the rest of these because it looks like they're in sync for my exposure. So, and now here we are at 11.5 millimeters, and then now at 14, and now at 16. So this is, I'm in the same spot, and there's your field of view, the full field of view for this Sigma 8 to 16 lens. 16 millimeters, 14 millimeters, 11.5, was probably aiming for 12 and just got off by a tad, and 9.5, and we're back to 16 there, and well, there's our 8. So there you go, 8, 9.5, 11.5, 14, 16. So the big things here to note is how much difference there is just between 8 millimeters and 9.5. So it's going to even a slight bit more difference between 8 millimeters and 10 millimeters. So you're going to want to really bear that in mind when you're considering, you know, how much do you think that extra 2 millimeters is. A lot of people discount it and say, oh, it's only 2 millimeters. I'll get a 10 to whatever. The 8 millimeters really makes a big difference. So in our next photo here, we have some trains. So here we are back at 8 millimeters. You can see the nice wide field of view here, and a little bit different perspective, same image, basic location, but a little closer. And here we'll show you again the 8 to 16 progression. So here's 8 millimeters, and there's 10 millimeters. So look again, there's 8 and there's 10. Quite a difference in the field of view at just 2 millimeters difference. Here we're at 12 millimeters, here we're at 14, and here we're at 16. So you can really see, especially when we get back to the 10 millimeters to 8 millimeters, look how much extra you're getting on the wide end there. Quite a bit, quite a bit. And here's the train from the looking up the other direction. And here we're at 16 millimeters, so zoomed right out on the Sigma 8 to 16. And there we're at 14, 12, 9.5 or 10, and 8 millimeters. So there again, look at the 8 to 10. Quite a bit of extra field of view. You want to bear that in mind when you're choosing which of these ultra wide zooms you want to go with, because the 8 to 16, the 8 millimeters really gives you some extra width. And here we're at 16 millimeters, an old factory out in the back end of Woodstock. And here we're at 14 millimeters, 12 millimeters, 10 millimeters, and then 8 millimeters. Look how much wider we can go at 8 millimeters, and there's 10 millimeters again. Pretty crazy. And here we go. Here is a train coming out of one of the depot areas in Woodstock, and this is an interesting shot. I've actually got a sequence of these. I'll probably try and do another video for you, the whole train going by. But probably what I would do if I was editing this is bring this down so I can see my whole sky nicely like that, and then use the fill light. I'd probably come up to 30 or something there, and use a brightness, and maybe 80. Let's pop the contrast. That looks pretty good right there. Not a bad shot. Anyways, gives you an idea of the quality. The image quality on this Sigma is very good. Edge to edge, corner to corner. If we look again here, you could see the tracks in the corner, the grass, everything, the detail is right there. And that's way in the foreground. That's not even the focus point, but you could see the detail in the edges of the Sigma is very, very good. The detail right across the frame, very, very good. Very nice lens. And as I demonstrated with the progression from 8 to 16, quite a big difference between 8 and 10 millimeters for those of you wondering if that is a reason to me, that's a huge reason to be considering this. Not only just on the image quality, but the fact that it has the extra 2mm. Anyways, folks, hope that helps you as far as if you're considering this lens. And thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon with some new video posts, some new articles, and we'll keep you up to date with what's going on in the world of photography here at artoftheimage.com. Thanks a lot.